Fun to get back on the heat. You had all that air conditioning at the State Farm Stadium, so I'm sure you love being out there.
Yeah, it's definitely hot. It's definitely a hot one today. But I do like it. I like being outside. But yeah, in the stadium, it's cold. It's very good temperature in there. But I enjoyed it out here.
What was it like to just get back into playing a game and playing against somebody new?
I enjoyed it. I'm definitely it's definitely needed because in practice, over time you kind of get used to your practice guys and your teammates. But it felt good to get back out there and play against someone new.
You've been through these joint practices before. Kind of what do you feel like you get out of them and the team gets out of them as opposed to being able to do your own stuff?
I feel like it's practice, so but I'm not seeing obviously during camp I practice against the offense, but I get to see their style of play, plays are going to run in the game, and just like the overall competition. Yeah, I look forward to that. I'm sorry, I'm sweating. I'm still sweating. Like I showered and everything, but geez, it didn't even work.
Dante, you seem to be the first guy up in most drills. Is there anything to that? Is it just you maybe the longest tenured guy in the current room? What's
I just like to be first. I always pride myself on being like the example. I mean, I don't really talk a lot, leader talk out, but I try to just be the example. And even though I'm not always going to be right, but I always try to put myself in situations to get it right.
JG talked about how he's been hard on you since you were pup and how he just mentioned that. Have you noticed that, and how much has that helped you maybe take that next step?
Yeah, he's definitely hard on me, but I appreciate that. I'd rather have a coach be hard on me than just not talk to me. So I definitely take that as motivation that he wants to see me do good and play well. So I try to go out there and do my job and just fly around.
Dante, you've gotten a lot of reps over the years, and in the first preseason game, you were getting in the backfield quite a bit. What feels most different about your game going into this year? And I don't know if that's the veteran presence or the change in coaching or it's just the natural progression, but what feels most different in your game? I
just feel more comfortable. I'll say the first couple of years, I was kind of I was trying to figure out my game. I was trying to figure out, how to, I wouldn't say figure out my game, but more just figure out the whole NFL thing, kind of used to, my body type and, kind of how I play different guys. But, I just feel like I'm way more comfortable in the scheme now. It is my third year with, the scheme and the coaches, so everything just feels more comfortable. And I feel like the more comfortable I am, the more, the faster I am out in the field.
Dante, when the team brings in a decent amount of defensive linemen in the offseason, do you start to think about how that affects your role?
No. I kind of just go in there and just I don't really think about that stuff because, every year is going to happen. Every year is going to be a different team, different guys flowing in and out. So I just try to go out there and just do my job, play hard, and make plays. That's kind of the whole thing. I don't really think about too much stuff like the future or the past. I don't care about the last few years I had, forward have. And this year, it's all about just doing better.
Does that get any easier than when you're a first or second year player, going into the preseason game? I don't know if when you're younger you feel pressure to make something happen in a preseason game, show what you're doing.
I guess I would say yes. When I first got here, there's a lot of pressure, but I feel like now it's still pressure. You just gotta go out there and play the right gap and make plays. That's kind of the whole process. I think is just to go out there and make plays, fly around, do your job, and I feel like everything will just take care of itself.
That's it. Thank you.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. What's up?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys?
What does it mean to have Will back in the building.
It's always good to have Miho back in the building, So, I'm stoked. It's good to have him back. Hung out a little bit with him in the offseason, and it's weird when you don't really know where you're headed or what you're going to do, and he had a lot of uncertainty and stuff. So I'm happy he's back in the building. He's one of the guys. So it's good to have him back, and he's an awesome presence to have around. So I'm stoked he's here.
You've been through joint practices before. I'm going to ask the question, but is it feel a lot different in a joint practice than maybe a preseason game or something?
Yeah, I think it's a little. The intensity is a little bit up. You get a chance to kind of go against guys that don't necessarily know your calls and know exactly what you're doing. Like at this point, we kind of have an idea of. I know what the D-line is generally doing before most plays, and they know what I'm doing or my calls. So it's good to go out and compete and still being, in a practice place where you're like, you get a chance to try some stuff out at another opponent, without any major ramifications of giving up a sack or getting hit or something. So it's like, hey, let's work on this or work on that, see how it truly feels. And then, there's always a good rapport between the teams. And it's like talking with the guys, what do you think? Because we're not going to meet them. Maybe in the playoffs, but that's about it, So it's always exciting to go. And, they got a great defense. So it's definitely going to be a challenge for us, but it's going to be a good challenge.
Kyler was very complimentary of how you guys performed in the first preseason game. What was your evaluation, especially from a pass pro standpoint?
I was pleased with the guys. I think we played really well. Intensity was good. Communication was good. It was a great first outing to have, especially versus the Chiefs defense that, they're 4 down front, but they do a lot of different things. They change the picture. They blitz differently and stuff like that. So a lot of communication they got me good on 1-2. So yeah, it was good. It was nice to get back out there and get 2 good drives in. Good communication and kind of getting operation down and rhythm down on when you can't just spend as much time as you want in the huddle. You have to get up and snap the ball.
You've seen Jonah have to put in the work to rehab. What does his return to the line mean to your unit?
It's awesome. Jonah is he's a baller, man, and we love having him back out there. Unfortunately, some things happened last year, of course, with his injury and stuff like that, but he's been battling even all last year during the season. He battled through it. And then to see him come back out here now and feeling good, looking good, moving well, and having him back in the meeting room, it's just getting that feel of like, hey, we're the brotherhood we're forming now and like the connectiveness that we have. And then he's balling out. So it's great to see, Jonah, he's a dog. So it's feel that. And it's also good because that kind of sets the precedence for anybody else coming up. You have to know your stuff or you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, and it's like that's not acceptable. So we have a lot of really, really smart guys across the board. Our receivers, our tight ends, our backs, all the linemen. Like I feel like we're at a really good place mentally. And physically too, we got a bunch of freaks out there. So that's really nice to have those guys too. But communication's good. And even if there's a mistakes happen, it's still quick to be like, hey, I need to do that better. Or like you can identify your own mistakes before you even talk to somebody. It was like, hey, I messed up. It was supposed to be this because I didn't check to that properly quick enough. Instead of coach coming over and be like, hey, did you see the nickel? And it's like, no. So everybody communicates. So that's really awesome to be a part of.
Do you get to a point, or I know there's a process, but do you get to a point somewhere in here where it's like, okay, let's get to a game week that matters and fast forward a little bit?
Yeah, yes and no, because once you get in, the ball is rolling, man, and it never stops. So, enjoy the time now where you still have a chance to, continue to prep. And I think it's easy to want to get there to game day, but it's still like, I mean, it's the 11th, 12th today. I mean, we got almost a whole month till we kick off. And it's like, yeah, it's a long time, but it's also a great time to continue to refine, double team. Like, I was just out at practice today talking to Isaiah about, hey, how do we want to fit this versus this front? And it's like, well, great. We're probably going to see that front for maybe that play versus that front. We might have another 4 to 8 opportunities, and which is like on that particular look. Well, that's great. That's another 4 to 8 opportunities for us to work on that instead of, hey, we're going tomorrow. So I think it's good. I think we're in a good place, and I feel like we continue to take steps forward, and that's encouraging.
When you say physical freaks that you guys have, who are the people that you're thinking of?
I mean, we're all speaking about Marv. I feel like that's the only one we're talking about. He's a freaking tight end now. But, I mean, we just got a bunch of guys, man. It's just awesome to see. I mean, we get in the huddle. I'm like, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So, I mean, there's a lot of, confidence when you get in that huddle. And, we roll up, and it's 1st and 10, and we just kick the ball. If we took a whatever, it'll be in touchback, and we're like, all right, we got some dogs, so it's good. It's awesome. And the O-line, I'm looking around, I trust every one of these guys. So it's very comforting to be in that huddle with all those guys.
There used to be a bunch of playmakers who take their job as blockers seriously. I think like Tip Ryman. Are there guys that you kind of look at as honorary offensive linemen that when you see them go out there and kind of get dirty, that the response is maybe more?
Yeah, I mean, we're still working on Tip. He just needs to gain 20 pounds, and then he's coming over, man. Put him at guard. So that's the goal, man. I mean, I think there's a lot of respect the way we run the ball, and the way, I mean, JC also, he bails us out sometimes when we don't block well enough. The same thing with Trey or Mike or DJ, whoever's back there. Our entire backfield is also amazing. So I think, we run the ball really hard, and even if it doesn't look pretty sometimes, we still give full effort, and I think everybody can see that. And it's like, I mean, the tight ends take pride in blocking too, because it's like when they block well, I mean, that's when the ball creases, because it's like you're an extension of the O-line. Or when receivers come in and push crack on a safety, it's like you don't see it much on tape, you don't see it highlighted well enough, but we had a big one, I forget who it was, who just flew in there and cracked a safety, and we last against the Chiefs, and bam, he kind of cut it out, and it was like, that wouldn't have been a 20-yard run if our receiver didn't, love of the game, go in there and sacrifice yourself a little bit. So it's a full, like, running the ball is not just a 5 up front, it's everybody involved, because we need to be, if we're ISO'd on the corner, and then I'll take JC on the corner, all day. Sometimes the corner going to win, but we need to block. So it's awesome having everybody around taking pride in that, because receivers also know, hey, if we block really well, then we might have a play action coming up, and then maybe I get a bomb. So that's great.
When we talked to Kyler in Glendale, he said that he's learning to love the boring things about being quarterback. Have you seen any difference in him this year compared to last year in terms of the little things?
Yeah, I mean, I think ever since I came here, I've just been very impressed with Kyler. Just in the locker room, man, and in the huddle, and who he is. And, he takes care of his guys, and he wants to have that, group feel. And every year I feel like he's taking another step. The small things, in the run game and carrying out fakes and what he needs to do, how he reads. And he's an amazing football player. So, and he's an extreme threat to have, and it gives us a better chance as blockers, because we can kind of change our scheme a little bit due to what he does. So, he's a threat, and people have to game plan towards him, and that is definitely good for us. So, yeah, he just keeps taking strides forward, man. I'm proud of seeing what he's been doing.
Your practice and the limited live reps, and I know you can only see so much during an actual live rep, but does any part of Trey Benson's game seem significantly elevated going into year 2 and how he's running the ball?
I think with backs, I think the one thing that I don't ever run the ball, so I don't know. But what I can appreciate is a guy that just, it's the same thing with an O-lineman. It's like, don't hesitate. Like, make a decision, make the cut, and then whatever it is, then deal with it. Like, if he sits back there and takes a bunch of steps and, I don't know, and it's like, well, I'd rather you make a cut, and it's a bad cut, but then we can talk about it, and then, hey, this is what I think would be better to do, or like, you got to stress this a little bit more. So I think Trey, he's been doing a great job at just being confident in his own plays, and then obviously if we mess up and let a guy go, And he breaks a couple of tackles in the backfield, which he even did in the game, and it was tremendous what he was doing back there. I mean, he was running like his hair was on fire, just like we want to, kind of mimicking JC a little bit. But so yeah, I think Trey's been doing a great job, just being very consistent and deliberate is what he needs to do.
I know you have a passion for lifting. Is it like this off season? Is it maintaining, or are you always trying to get bigger and stronger?
Yeah, I think the whole mindset kind of changes every year. It's definitely changed for me. Wow, I'm just getting knocked crazy here. Let me just turn that off. I always have it on in case Lucia wants to say hi. It's definitely changed for me. I think heading into year 7 is different than when I was heading into year 2, 3, 4. I've played more than I ever have in my career, and I think it's more like, okay, how can we get back to base, and then how can we, one thing that old guys, I don't want to say old, but as you get later in your career is just rate of force development, so how fast can you move an object, and I think that's kind of where my mindset had to change. It's like, okay, it's really cool to squat a lot of weight, but I need to worry about how fast can I squat heavy-ish weight in a way. So it's kind of changed a little bit. I work with Evan every day, and he's even like, hey, let's try different things. Let's move on a different way. How can we do stuff that's, better for your joints while still, pushing strength? And just from what I understand, I know Evan, our strength coach, like he's one of those guys who's like, we're gonna stress you and we're gonna put a lot of weight on your back, because like once we get to week 12 plus, you can see guys lose muscle. And we don't really do that. We go heavy and we get after it, and I think that's something that I enjoy, but in a smart way. Like, it's always a fine line. It's like, hey, do you want to test a little bit in the weight room? Because anything you do, there's risk, but we definitely see there's more reward whenever we do press it a little bit in the weight room. So, but off season for sure. Just trying to. It was a long season last year, and get back to base, and then how can I keep moving forward?
Is it different to not strive for the highest numbers anymore?
Yeah, well, it's just, what's the benefit necessarily of adding 5 pounds to my lift? Because that probably is all I could really add in one off-season cycle, instead of what about if I can move sub-maximal weight really fast? That's at least the way that I kind of think about it. If that makes
fun things to your weight room or your regime?
No, it was a little chill now. So we're I have some plans in the future, but we're just kind of. We had a second baby and stuff, so we didn't really. I got an hour out there a day, so we're just doing the basics. Basics are still the good. It's the foundation. It's the everyday drills, so it doesn't need to change a whole lot. So just squat, bench, dead, and then we're moving forward.
Thanks, y'all.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.